Okay, let's do it. Let's review Halo. Come on, right now. Let's rock it. I'm so excited. We are talking about Halo because it's finally wrapped up. It's ready to rock. I feel like I'm like falling down on my seat right now. But anyway, welcome Captain Influence and Lord Thunder. Yes. Back all together. This is like a party, man. Yeah.
It's always a party in this
house. I feel like I'm
house.
sinking over here in this chair. I'm on a different chair right now, and it just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. And
sink down to our level, Brian.
Yeah. I need to rise up to you guys. There we go. All right, I'm rising up. I'm rising up to you. Hey, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. We are going to talk Halo. So first of all, who here has played any of the Halo video games?
Of course.
Just the first one.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
First one for Captain. Lord Thunder, how many of you played?
I played up to Halo 4.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
And I've played up to Halo 5. I never did get a chance to play 5 or Infinite, and I've heard mixed reviews on Infinite. But yeah, so I'm through the 4 storyline. Which one? Well, okay, Carl, what was your favorite?
Well, 1 was my favorite.
Okay.
Reach was my second favorite.
Okay, yeah, I'd have to very much agree with that. Reach's storyline was really cool, and the reason I asked you about that too, because Reach was pre-fall of Reach, of course, and then so basically what we're seeing in this TV show is sort of around the storyline and the timeline of Halo Reach, the video game, except they changed things. At least I think. Yeah. So, overall thoughts. Captain, what were your overall thoughts?
So I liked it. I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm not a Halo fanboy, as you well know, but I did enjoy playing the original game 20 years ago. And since I was largely ignorant of the lore, I didn't experience some of the disappointment that some fans have expressed in the series. So, like you just mentioned, how they changed things a little bit. I didn't know what they changed, so I didn't have that handicap. So
okay, yeah, that's good. That works. All right, Lord Thunder. Overall thoughts?
Yeah, I liked it. I give it a 8 out of 10. There were definitely things that were different with it from the video game, but I mean, I expect that to be the case, right? Because they're catering to a larger audience. But what they did do with the show, I liked it a lot. So I can't wait for season 2.
Nice. Yeah, and they have, I think they've confirmed a season 2, right? They better.
I sure hope so.
Good.
Yeah.
My gosh, that would be terrible. All right. My overall thoughts, I loved it as well. We'll get into it in a minute, but I gave it a 7 out of 10, and here's why, though. The Master Chief storyline and Cortana and all that, I would give, well, maybe even an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. But because of the whole Kwan and Sorin storyline, it drops the overall show down to a 7 out of 10 for me because I hated that storyline. That was terrible. But the rest was awesome, and I loved it. Overall, loved the show. I'm very excited for season 2, and even as a Halo fanboy, which I kind of am. It's still, I enjoyed it because what I would have hated for them to basically retell Halo Reach in a live TV show. That would have been boring to me because it's already been told. I've already played it, so I want something different. I want something new. So for that reason, I liked it overall. But all right, so let's there were 2 storylines, of course. Let's talk about the whole Kwan and Sorin storyline first of all. Let's just get that out of the way. Did you guys like that or not?
You know, I felt the side story with Kwan and Sorin felt extraneous. It wasn't bad. It was actually a good story. I thought I had plenty of action, but it just felt too disconnected from the main story. It was connected at the beginning with how she, Kwan and how Master Chief saves Kwan and whatever. But then once it splits off, Sorin's still, the tie back to Master Chief, but it just what happened with him and Kwan after they split was just felt too disconnected in my opinion.
Sure. Okay. Thunder?
Yeah, I felt the same way. I mean, Sorin I liked a lot. Kwan to me felt like that kind of bratty child that was just
Yep.
Yeah, it was just
I didn't get that from her.
Oh, I couldn't stand her for that reason. Yeah, I just wanted to smack her, man. I was like, dude, shut up.
I see why you got that. I can see why you thought that, but it didn't bug me for some reason.
I kept thinking she wanted to get herself, she wanted to save her people, right? But what is she going to do by herself? Everyone keeps telling her, you might want to keep quiet, but then she doesn't.
Yeah,
true. She did do some stupid things there, but I feel like I sympathize with her urge to reignite the resistance a bit. She was just headstrong about that purpose.
Well, she needed to grow up. I mean, to be completely honest, she was a kid, so it's like she was, to me, she was that bratty kid. She was annoying. She was screaming a lot. I can't tell you how many times I was sitting here watching her storyline and going, dude, stop. You're an idiot. That's a dumb decision. Don't do it. And then of course she's Sorin, I'm going to go back to Sorin. I like Sorin. I like the actor. I felt like they kind of didn't do a very good job with the story though. Because, when he first started off, I thought, hey, this guy's kind of cool. And then the whole episode where it was just Kwan and Sorin, I was like, they kind of took a dump on Sorin's story at that point. I just wasn't that excited about it. But Kwan, the whole time, I felt like it's like they wanted to do something with her, but the fans didn't care about her or didn't want it. And like you said, Master Chief saves her. And you're kind of like, okay, what's going to happen? And then nothing happened. And then they just went off on some side quest that had nothing to do with the rest of the story and didn't make any sense. And I'm sure Master Chief's forgotten about her already. It's kind of like, So what's interesting is on IMDb, I noticed that episode with Sorin and Kwan was a 3.9 out of 10.
Wow, the penultimate episode, as we like to say.
Or no, it was the one right before that. It was the second to last. So the third to last.
I thought it was second. Yeah,
I think 3.9 out of 10 is generous. I think that was a solid 3 out of 10 for me at highest. It was and if it was its own series, that would be a different story.
Right.
But also, I just thought the Kwan character was incredibly annoying, and I didn't like her character at all. But
it seemed
that's fair.
Writing issue to me, right? I mean, they probably had a good idea when they were creating this character, and then halfway down, episode 4, for me it was like episode 2. I was already done with her, but
same.
But it's like they kind of just let it go. I mean. She wasn't in the finale, right? So what's going on with her character?
Yeah, she wasn't in penultimate or finale. So exactly.
Like, did she disappear? What happened to her?
I'm happy if she disappears. I'm kind of really hoping they don't bring her back. So that's my thought.
Well, as a contrast to Kwan, I thought that the Covenant were really well done.
Oh yeah. So talk about the positive stuff.
Yeah, and their grooming of McKee was very believable. I thought it was very insidious, and it was just a great. How they. I thought that the Covenant priest class, those two dudes that kept talking, they were really creepy and well done. Yeah. I was very impressed with the CG on those guys, and all the different.
You haven't played Halo 2, right?
No.
So you never saw them in the games.
No.
I
only saw all the other classes of Covenant drones and whatever, but yeah, I just really appreciated how they brought in all the different kinds of Covenant.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of good service to the games as far as, including them and making the players say, oh yeah, I used to shoot those guys, So, and just inserting McKee into the human society. I thought it was a little too easy how they did it, but it was just very insidious. And I was, it kind of had me on the edge of my seat. What's she going to do to them? And are they going to is Master Chief going to turn her to their side? And so, I really liked that part of the show. That
did frustrate me though, because, there was trust between McKee and Master Chief, and then there still was trust. And then Master Chief went off basically to essentially save both of them. And then of course, the Admiral comes in and causes all these problems, and she just distrusts again. And it's kind of like, wait a minute, Master Chief was still on your side. It's like, hold on here. And then I guess it kind of still ended that way, which was nice. There was a bit of a reconciliation there, like the truth and reconciliation.
I do like that, and I don't think a lot of people agree to this, but I do like that they give Master Chief kind of, they made him more human, right? He's not, in the game, kind of human underneath this suit that he's wearing, but in this show, you kind of could tell that he's trying to understand why he's the way he is, right? And he kind of figures it out, but as he's going through it, you can see him struggling, and you don't get that in the game. So I kind of appreciated that.
Yeah, because that's right. It does kind of give more of a history of to who he is and where he came from, which that part of the story there's been some lore in the games about that, he was essentially taken.
But then at the very end of the last episode, I don't know, we're not spoiling. Are we spoiling?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so at the very end of the last episode, then he becomes, with what happens, he becomes more like he is in the games. So they at least end this first series with him being more game-like.
I was wondering that is that the game Master Chief then, or is that who we've played? Is the Cortana controlled Master Chief? And
I kind of feel like it. I feel like that was their intent. I
And then
could be wrong.
if she eventually resurrects his personality, it's only a shadow of who he was or something like that.
Maybe.
I'm wondering.
But we know Cortana's not a bad person, and she is a person. She did what she had to do at the end, but I don't think that Master Chief's personality is gone. I don't think that would make no sense if they just got rid of him.
Because at first, you were mentioning about the more human side. I was frustrated that there was so much. It was kind of like with Boba Fett. There was so much non-helmet time. And I didn't like that at first, and it was starting to frustrate me a little bit. But then I got to think, well, okay, you are seeing that human side of him and everything like that. But I mean, what we've come to know is Master Chief with a helmet on at all times. There's just no, or like you might see him in the background or something like that with his helmet off, but it's from behind and stuff. So at first I didn't like that. I do like it now. I am curious to see what they do, but let's talk Cortana, because Cortana, first of all, again, if you're going with the game storyline, Cortana was not yet active. Master Chief does not interact with Cortana until the very first game, which is post Fall of Reach. Reach is destroyed and everybody, basically it's Halsey's major project, and we don't even know what it is until the very end, and the Spartans go in and I'm sorry, I'm spoiling the game, but Spartans go in and they get the secret project from Halsey. Halsey dies, and she's a lot older, by the way. And you grab the Cortana, what would they call it? The Cortana construct, I think is what it was called, or something like that. It's been a long time since I played it. Mm-hmm. And then, you deliver it to the Pillar of Autumn, which is boom, they've arrived at the Halo, and it's, the beginning of the first game, right? That's the lore. So clearly they've changed that. Reach is alive, Halsey's younger, Cortana's active and part of Master Chief long before anything. Yeah. So that was weird that they changed that. At first I was frustrated, but now I'm like, whatever. It's just, again, tell a new story. It doesn't matter.
Well, see, but the Fall of Reach is integral to Halo lore, right? I mean, it's a hugely important event, and I feel like that event, they would be remiss to not include that in an upcoming season. That epic event of the Covenant destroying that big human colony.
Yeah, well, because in Halo 2,
I feel like it's going to happen.
Halo 2, the Covenant come to Earth, so there's also that. Where's Earth in this whole thing? I don't know. So it's going to be interesting where they go with it. But speaking of Cortana again, though, what did you think of her? Well, okay, so Captain, you've only seen the Halo 1 version of Cortana, but throughout the games, she gets better graphics and, more evolved and personality-wise and, so on. What did you think of this Cortana? Her look. Now, granted, it was the same voice actress, Jen Taylor, so awesome Jen. I love Jen. She is the perfect Cortana. But anyway, so she kept the personality alive, but from a look perspective, what'd you guys think?
I thought she looked great.
Okay. Yeah, did you like it better or worse than some of the games?
No, I do like that. I do like that they got rid of the whole Cortana being evil thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope they keep that storyline away from the TV show. But as far as her look, when I first saw her, I'm like, that's a great looking Cortana right there.
I thought that the CG in this series was mostly great overall, except for one little part that stuck out to me. There's this part in one of the early episodes where they're on the planet Madrigal, and there's this crane that explodes at this site, and it looked a little like claymation because they seemed to get the physics of it wrong. The crane arm fell too fast for the scale of the machine. It was this huge crane, and the arm just kind of dropped, like it went bonk like at the bottom. And I was like, wait a minute, it just stood out like a sore thumb for me. And but I mean, other than that little thing, I thought it was acceptable. So yeah.
I'll say with the Cortana CGI, the only thing I missed was a little more of her code, because in the games you see her as an outline like you did in the show and everything, but there was a lot more code kind of moving, kind of almost Matrix like, through her hair and through her body. And this was a lot less of that, and so I kind of wish they would have done a little like, I like what they did, but add a little more of that moving code just to make it look a little cooler. Other than that, though, I loved it. And then, with the CGI, you're right. I mean, when the Covenant Elite like drops down and, it's got his face, and in their language, he's like, demon. You're just like, oh man, when I saw the guys come up with the hammers, I was like, dude, that's my favorite weapon in the games is the hammer. Because when you jumped out, now I was a little disappointed at that, one of the guys didn't come down and slam it on the ground and all the guys go flying. That was the best part of the hammer, is you just swing down on the ground and everybody, I mean, all the enemies go everywhere. And so they should have shown that. And I was really disappointed that they didn't. But other than that, it was pretty amazing. Okay,
yeah, I'm kind of partial to the sticky grenade, to be honest. So
yeah. Well, hey, here's what I don't get. He got stuck with a grenade and they all, they're alive? Really? Man, when I got stuck with a grenade, you would die. You did not survive that.
Out, yeah.
Come on. Yeah. Okay, let's talk music really quick. Soundtrack. What'd you guys think?
I liked it in general. I actually noticed it in some places, and I thought the score was pretty well done.
Agreed.
Nice.
I do like the intro song as well. Kind of starts off with a little kind of chorus in the background, and then goes into like this transition of him becoming Master Chief. I do like that a lot.
That was a neat intro. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I was trying to figure out if it was the same guy or not that composed all the games, but I've always been a big fan of the Halo soundtracks. In fact, some of them have been some of my favorite soundtracks for games and movies, actually. They've done a really, really good job. And
from the first game.
Yeah, I thought they did a phenomenal job with, I kept noticing the music, and yes, they were bringing in some of the classic stuff, but then also some new stuff. And I just kept going, oh my gosh, this is so good. I love it. I'm noticing it in a good way. So, but yeah, I was going to look to see if it's the same composer, and it's going to take me too long. So we'll find out. Sean Callery.
Danvidge, I think. I forget his name.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up and find out. But one way or the other, he did. Whoever composed it did a really nice job.
I don't think they'll keep Master Chief kind of emotionless like how he is now as Cortana Chief, I guess you want to call it. I hope in season 2 they'll do something where I guess Cortana's smart enough to figure out how to get Chief back, and then separate herself out, kind of like a Firestorm kind of Matrix thing going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if they figure that out, we'll get Master Chief back and we'll get Cortana back as it is in the game.
That would be cool.
I feel like that's the only way they can. I mean, honestly, I don't see how they can possibly proceed otherwise. So somehow, one way or another, Cortana is going to recover Master Chief's personality and get him back in the picture. So yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean, I know that they took some liberties with the characters and stuff, and that, like, for example, the Master Chief was not how I expected him to be, and Cortana was exactly like, I think she was the only one. Well, Halsey to me was actually pretty dang close to what I saw in Reach, or what I would experience, or expect her to be. I think Cortana, obviously, it's the same actress, same voice actress, so it was exactly as I expected. But some of the other ones, I like Master Chief was a little different, and of course they changed up Captain Keyes and also Miranda Keyes and all that, and so they were just very, very different than what I expected. But I liked them, and I was going to ask, like, what did you think of the acting of each of the characters for the most part?
Nothing threw me off about it. I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to. The one thing I want to say is that McKee, the actress who played McKee, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she did a really good job. I liked her a lot. So,
and I don't think she was in the game, so I don't remember her at all.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know, but
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, if she was, it was a side thing, but I don't remember that. Anyway, she did a great job. They all did a great job.
Yeah.
What I'll be curious to know is if they're going to bring in the sergeant, from the first couple of games. Because I just want to, and I want the same voice actor guy. I don't care how they do it, but I just want to hear him go, oh, I know what the ladies like. Are you
talking about red versus blue?
No, the sergeant. I don't even know what the sergeant's name is, actually, but he's the guy that's always like, come on, Marines. That he's one of my favorite characters in the entire series.
Oh, okay.
I won't say anything else since you haven't played them all, but they need to bring him somewhere, somehow into this. I don't know how they're going to do, even if it's just over a radio. I got to hear his voice. Anyway, well, cool. Well, anyway, thank you for joining us on this. I would love to hear what you all thought on the series of Halo. What did you think? Did you like it? Are you a Halo fanboy, fangirl? Did you hate it? What's your rating? Tell us your thoughts, please, because, hey, this is just our opinions. I mean, we know that Lord Thunder's always right, but the rest of us are always just trying to figure out what the heck we're doing in life. So
yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. We're signing off.